Hello everyone, my name is Debbie Gilbert. I've gone live a few minutes early just to allow time for people to join this live. I'm going to be talking about harness the power of LinkedIn, and it's going to be quite an information-packed session. So I would grab a notebook and pen. So you've got that, have a glass of water handy. I listened to Alex's talk the other day. And we're going to be talking you through all of the things that you need to be doing on your profile, the things that you can do to actively search for things on LinkedIn and to raise your profile, raise your awareness about you. So if you've got questions throughout the presentation, pop them into the comments. And then I will have a look at the very end of the presentation rather than throughout it, and there'll be time for questions at the very end. So I'm just letting people join. We will start at 12 because I recognise that everybody will come in at different points, but I am going to start directly at 12. Should have a bit of hold music really. And I'm just going to check the group now so I can see how it's going. It's been some great talks over the past 2 weeks. So if you haven't had a chance to catch up on all of the talks that have taken place, go back through the group and you will see all the recordings there, which is quite handy because you can watch them at your own leisure. And what I've been finding is I sit down with a cup of tea every day and have a look and see what talks have been on. Sorry, just thought that was the door going then. So yeah, and the topics that have been covered have been absolutely brilliant, and I'm sure that that you've all gained so much from that. I will be sharing my screen, and I've got lots of screenshots to share with you, rather than trying to work live on LinkedIn, which can be a challenge with bandwidth, as we all know. There's lots of screenshots, and you can watch this back, obviously, as well, because you may think, oh, there's a lot of information that she's sharing all in one go. And do drop your LinkedIn profiles into the comments as well, because it will be great to connect up with you after the live as well. I'd love to know what your favourite topics have been so far. As I said, I loved Alex's talk the other day. Hello, Stella. Just spotted Stella's on. Stella is a friend of mine, and she is an employee, and I know she's quite keen to know a little bit more about LinkedIn. So do drop comments into the comments box, because it's great to hear what you have to say, and share your, your wins that you've had from LinkedIn if you have had them, or things that really annoy you about LinkedIn, because one of the things that I find people share with me is all of their annoyances about LinkedIn, but there are lots of ways to prevent those annoyances happening. My normal course is 3 hours long, so I'm trying to pack quite a lot into 45 minutes, but hopefully you'll go away with some real top nuggets, and you'll be able to go away and put those into practice on your LinkedIn profile. Thank goodness the weather has taken a bit of a break, and we've had all this rain, which actually I was quite relieved for the first time to actually see rain for several months, so that was quite nice. And I'm doing a bit of dog sitting at the moment, so I've got a couple of dogs here, so I'm hoping they're not going to make any noise, because that can be a bit disruptive. So we have about 1 minute, and then we're going to go into the presentation, because I like to start on time, and get those pens and papers ready. So I'm going to share my screen while we're still waiting for people to join, because that way we're all prepped and ready to go. So there we go. Hopefully you can see that. We'll leave it another 30 seconds. Oh, we've got some more comments. Let's have a look, see what everybody's talking about. Hello, Alex. Got my water. Hello, Lisa. Hello, Raina. Lovely to see you all. Thanks for joining me. Right, let's crack on. So, harness the power of LinkedIn. So what qualifies me to talk to you about LinkedIn? I have a marketing business that I've had for the past 25 years, and I've been running LinkedIn training I would say probably about 13 years now. So when LinkedIn started, I quickly realized it was going to be a great platform to connect with other business owners and professionals. So signed up, and over the course of an 18-month period, lots of people were asking for my help, saying, oh, you're on there all the time. You know, how do I do this? How do I do that? So I put together my first course, which I delivered as an open course in a function room, and quickly realized that 45 people doesn't really work on an open LinkedIn course. So the open LinkedIn courses I run are 10 people maximum, so that we can sort of address the individual concerns and businesses. And then I also go into companies and run bespoke training for their teams. So, and work with people one-to-one, depends what they need. So the courses came about then, and I'm a big evangelist of LinkedIn. We work on it all day, every day. And so a lot of what I'm sharing with you is based on the experience that I've had with clients and the things that I know work. Now, there is so much on here that I am literally distilling down some of the most important things for you to take away today. So let's dive in. So who needs to know more about LinkedIn? Well, this is my take on it. Anyone who is a professional, who's an employee, who's an employer, who owns a business, or is self-employed, or is a contractor should be on LinkedIn. It applies to all of those different areas, and all of those different areas can get so much from using it. So what are we going to cover today? Well, we're going to cover why you need a presence on LinkedIn. We're going to talk about your profile and why keywords are critical. We're going to look at tips on completing your profile. We're going to look at building your network. We're going to look at using search. And we're going to look at following companies and individuals and the benefits of that. Then I thought it would be worth looking at premium membership versus free membership, because it's a question I get asked a lot. And then we'll wrap up with looking at your to-do list at the very end. So make sure you've got your paper and pen handy, because that way you can create your own to-do list at the very end. So LinkedIn is the largest online network in the world. It's got over 800 million members in more than 200 countries, and approximately 2 new members are joining every second. LinkedIn is essential for anyone who's looking for LinkedIn is essential for anyone who's a professional looking for a new role, looking to recruit, or looking for leads. 1 in 3 professionals worldwide use LinkedIn, and 40% of members log in daily. Anyone who is a professional should have a completed up-to-date profile on LinkedIn. And if you don't use it, you are going to be missing out on opportunities. With the app now, it's so easy to have a little look every single day. The app has been sort of revolutionary for LinkedIn, and it took them a while to catch up from the facilities on the desktop to what you could do on the app. There are still a few things that you can't do on the app that you can do on the desktop, but in the main, they have got it more or less running concurrently. So the app is free to download, and I would recommend doing that so that you can keep on top of things. So LinkedIn should be priority for these reasons. It enables you to create an online CV. So here you can tell your professional story. You can go back historically in the jobs that you've worked in, the universities or college you may have attended. You can also share your skills and your abilities on there. It's a great place for discovering opportunities. So companies use it more and more now as a way of getting new staff. The job feature is heavily used. When it first started, it took a while to get some traction, but it has got huge traction now. And also recruitment agencies use it, and some companies use it for cold outreach, and I'll be talking a bit about that later. So as somebody, if you're looking to progress your career, you should be on there. And also people who work with other businesses, B2B, will search for your services on LinkedIn. So as a business owner, it's really important that you're present on there. Think of LinkedIn as a huge database. That's how I like to think of it. Yes, there's the social side of posting, but it's a huge information resource. And you can find out loads of information about potentially the companies that you're applying to work for. You can find out about companies you might want to work with, You can find out what's trending in your industry. You can find other people interested in what you're talking about, and also interested in your industry. So for me, I find it a huge benefit to be able to go and research on LinkedIn, and I spend a lot of time doing research on LinkedIn. The other thing is, it's massive for generating awareness of you and what you're doing, and you're raising your profile. And through you posting on LinkedIn, and through you getting recommendations on LinkedIn, and also having your skills listed on LinkedIn, this is really how you are going to get traction, either for your business or for yourself. So it's a huge benefit, massive. And the final thing is, if you are a business owner and you have a website, the SEO benefits of having a company page are enormous. A lot of the time when you set up a company page, you will find that it's ranking higher than the company's website. And this is because LinkedIn has great domain authority. So if you've got the website set up brilliantly, but you're still not getting on page 1 of Google, you might find that your LinkedIn company page gets onto page 1 of Google for your search terms. So that is a huge benefit, and it ranks very, very quickly as well. So there is no reason that you can give me that says you shouldn't be on LinkedIn, because these are all the reasons. And I know from my business and from clients and from people I've worked with getting jobs that this works really well. So what I thought we'd start off by looking at your profile. So I've given you a screenshot of my profile. So I want to talk through with you a few key areas that you need to be aware of. Areas that I often see underutilized or not used correctly. So the back image at the top here, I've got a montage of photos because I do a number of different things, and I do change that from time to time. But you could have a graphic with your phone number, your email address. You could have pictures of you conducting your daily job, whatever it might be. And there's a website called Canva, and you can make up a bespoke profile in there, and you can sign up to Canva for completely free. It's a graphic design website, and you can create something that looks like this on Canva really easily. Professional photograph, which is in the circle here, is absolutely essential. Please don't put pictures of you sitting having sangria with your sunglasses on. This is not the place. Or cartoon pictures, or pictures that don't really represent you and who you are. If you can't afford to get professional photography done, make sure somebody takes a nice photograph of you, clear background, pop it onto LinkedIn. The other thing you can do now is you can also record a 30-second introduction video. You need to do that on your phone. You can't do it on the desktop version. And when you click on my profile, you'll see there's a video there. It's just a little introduction from me. And I think it's really worth doing that because it gives people a little flavour of you. You can talk about your goods and services, or if you're looking for a job, you can talk about the sort of industries you're interested in. It's only 30 seconds. It's a short intro, but I think it gives people a sense of who you are. You can also claim what's called your public profile URL, so your unique reference link. And this means that if people are searching for you on Google, they'll probably find you more easily, and also if they're searching for you on LinkedIn. So essentially, click on this link, top right-hand corner of your profile, and it will take you into another screen, and you can take away all the letters and numbers and things and make that personalized to you. Now, I'm one of those people who's got a really common name, Debbie Gilbert, so that had gone. So I'm just Deb Gilbert. And try and keep it, maybe put your middle initial in or something like that. But don't make it really, really long, because when people come to tag you in things, it can cause all sorts of problems. So just kind of keep it fairly short. And that sort of brings me on to the name field of your profile. So we see a lot of people polluting this name field. I don't advise doing it. I don't advise putting phone numbers here, email addresses. I would keep it just to your name, keep it really simple. if you start putting loads of stuff in here, again, when people come to tag you, it comes up with all this other stuff, and it can actually make it, again, more difficult for people to find you. So keep that simple. Under your headline, which is this bit here, underneath the name, what I see a lot of is head of marketing or head of customer services. So you need to go in and bespoke it, because this is really good search juice, I call it, because you want in that box keywords. What do I mean by keywords? Keywords are all the things that surround you and your business or your industry or your career, because obviously today I'm talking to several different audiences. So if you are someone who works in customer service, then you need to start putting some of those keywords in here. So think about all of the words and phrases around your industry, more commonly used ones, the things that people are going to be searching for, and maximize those. You get 160 characters. You can separate them with the down key. You can put emojis in there if you want to. And also, when you post on LinkedIn, those keywords are going to come up underneath your name. You know, lots of people put sentences there, but the sentences are not going to help you get found. And the reason I get so much LinkedIn training and social media training work from LinkedIn is because I have LinkedIn training underneath my headline and I come up quite easily. And I think it's really important to almost put the keywords in order of preference if you do a number of different things. So if you want to be found, like I like to be found as marketing consultant, I'm also a business awards organizer, you know, so those things at the moment, I will move the business awards down a little bit once we close that. We're finished at the end of September. I'll change it around again. So you can chop and change them as much as you want. And here is the pen symbol, and this is where you can change all of this information. So I've given you a screenshot in the user mode. So when you're in it, this is what you will see. The other thing you must do is make sure your contact information is up to date. A number of times I go to contact someone, they haven't got a phone number there, they haven't put an email there. Don't make it difficult for people to contact you, make it really easy. I would also advise having more than one email linked to your LinkedIn profile. The reason for this is I work with a lot of people who have been locked out of their LinkedIn profile because they've left the company and they no longer have access to their LinkedIn profile. So they then create another LinkedIn profile. So you end up with two LinkedIn profiles. There are ways of merging those profiles, by the way. So if you are in a bit of a sticky jam with your profiles, do let me know and I can reach out and help you. But I don't advise setting up a new profile every time you change jobs. So what I would do is always have a personal email, like a Gmail, an Outlook email, nothing related to the company you're working for, as a secondary email in your settings. All your settings, I'm not going to go through all of that today because I just don't have the time. But when you go into settings, you can change it there. Make sure as well that you have two-factor, we call it two-factor authentication on your account. And this helps with reducing somebody being able to hack into your LinkedIn account. So what it will do is send you a text message with a code when you log in, and you can log straight in if you're using the desktop. If you're obviously using the app stays logged in all the time. So it's just worth doing that again as a backup. So those are the main things I want to talk through on the top end of the profile. You can also now add one email address here, website address here, which links straight to your website. So that's quite a new feature. It's not been there that long. And again, that's worth doing because it kind of, again, helps with your SEO and it makes it really easy for people to contact you. You can also add your profile in another language. Again, I've got a couple of clients that work in France and Germany, so they've added those onto their profile as well. Excuse me. So what's next? So what people ask me a lot is, oh, I don't know what to write in my about section. So this is the bit underneath all of the information I've just gone through with you. So my advice is to sit down and write it on a Word document. Don't do it in LinkedIn, okay? The reason I say that is because you want it to be grammatically correct. And it's like writing a bio about you, and you want to spend some time on it, and you might want to send it to somebody else to have a quick look at before you pop it onto LinkedIn. So I would think about sharing your story and make it authentic and weave in some of those keywords. So once you've done that keyword list and you've weaved them into the headline, you can then have a go at weaving them into your about section. Some people use a headline to grab attention at the top. It's really a personal preference. You have to do what makes you feel happy. And think about what drives you. You know, what is it that you love about your industry? And try and communicate your passion. You really want to try and share some of those keywords in your skills and your attributes in this about section. And also maybe you want to share some of the achievements and specialities that you have. Maybe you want to use examples of how you supported a client or a project that you worked on that you were particularly proud of. You can also further down your profile, add against different roles, PDFs and JPEGs, links to video, PowerPoint presentations and literature. And I would recommend you do that because it's really enhancing your profile and it's making people realize, you know, what have you done that's so special. So if you've written something you want to share, or you've got a booklet or an ebook, all of these things. So when you're thinking about your LinkedIn profile, my recommendation is to sit down and brainstorm the about section and all of the things that you can add in. Because I would lay money that you've all got stuff that you could put on there that you've done. And at the end, put a prompt of why people should connect with you and who you're looking to connect with. Simple sentence, have a look at mine. You know, again, I change it from time to time. There are people out there that will write LinkedIn profiles for you if you don't feel you've got the skill set to do it. But at the end of the day, I think it's about being authentic, and then you can run it through a Grammarly, get it checked, make sure it all makes sense and pop it in. I think once you've done the brainstorm, you are then more able to do this piece of work, because what I find is people don't spend the time on this and they just sort of fling it out and hope for the best. And that is not a good strategy to have on LinkedIn. So there's some other little buttons that I wanted to draw your attention to, because you can, you know, use LinkedIn for job searching, which lots of people are doing nowadays. So here you've got an open to button. And when you click on it, it comes up with open to finding a new job. So you can click on that and put the information in, the type of job that you're looking for. If you're a company that's hiring, you can click hiring, and you can attract the qualified candidates that you need for your business. And I think this is really worth doing as well. There is a skills quiz on here that you can do, and you can get this little skills badge that comes up on your profile. It's just underneath there. You can see take a skills quiz, and I would recommend giving that a go if you are looking for a job. If you're a business, you should definitely have creator mode switched on. I do think creator mode is still good to have switched on if you're looking for a job. And when you switch creator mode on, it gives you a lot of boxes to fill out, all about what is your specialisms, what are your skills, what do you talk about, what are you sharing. So for example, with mine, you get 5, I think it's 5 or 6, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got awards, marketing, networking, business support, and social media trainer. And I really recommend you do that. You switch that on because it will widen you in search when people are looking for what you do. So my advice is to complete all the available sections for you on your LinkedIn profile. And again, I see a lot of people that don't do that. One of the main reasons is LinkedIn profiles that are completed and have photos and information will rank higher in search than those that don't. So if your profile is only 20% completed or 30% and you don't have a photo, you're not going to rank as high in search. So go through these sections. So the about section covers your experience, and use technical jargon, right? And the reason you need to use technical jargon is because if somebody's searching for what you do, they are going to be using technical jargon to search. So I'm going to give you an example. I worked with a guy who was looking for a job, and he was a programmer, coder, very techie person, was made redundant. This was a few years ago. He was made redundant and he was struggling to find a new job, and he knew he had to get his LinkedIn profile sorted out. And he did a very specific type of code, and not many people in the world could do this particular type of code. And he sort of said to me, "Oh, shall I put it in?" And I said, "Yeah, I definitely think you should put it in." So we worked on his profile and he put that information in. And lo and behold, a few weeks later, he called me and he said, "You are not going to believe this. I've just been on the phone with Google." I said, "All right, what's that all about?" And he said, "Well, because I put that code, the type of code, in my LinkedIn profile, they were searching for people that can help them on a project in Seattle in America. And I came up and they contacted me. And I'm now off out there for 3 months to do a project." So that proved my point, because without that in there, he wouldn't probably have got that phone call. So seriously think about some of the more technical terms that you can use if you are in a technical field. The next thing is putting your education in, your school, your university, your college. And I get a lot of people saying to me, "Oh my goodness me, why would I want to do that?" Well, here's another story. So again, working with a guy who was an engineer, he was looking for a new role, he'd relocated. We went through a lot of things that he should put in his profile, and he didn't have his university on there. So I said, "Well, where did you go to university?" "I went to Manchester." I said, "Oh, but that was 20 years ago," he said. So I said, "Well, I think you should put it in, because what it will do is it will prompt people to connect with you who also went to Manchester University and who also maybe did the same degree course as you. And you just never know what is going to turn up." And sure enough, phoned me and said, "That was the best piece of advice you gave me, because I connected up with a few of my ex-university friends that I hadn't seen for ages, years had gone by." And he said, "And one of them now owns his own engineering company and has offered me a job." That is the power of this. These are not made up stories. These are genuine stories. So think about your education. And I will give you an example of my own situation. I have only gone back to my very last job before I set up the business 25 years ago. And I put in the travel company that I was working for, and I came up as a suggestion to one of my previous bosses, who then realized I was doing social media training. And he owns his own travel business now, based up north, and he asked me to come and do training. So that wouldn't have happened had I not put that in there. So really think about that background and what you want to share, because things can turn up from places that you probably wouldn't have thought about if you put those into your LinkedIn profile. The next thing you really want to focus on is the skills section. When you first set up a LinkedIn profile, it will curate skills based on what you put in to start with. So my advice is to go through those and get rid of the ones you want there and put ones in that you do. There's quite a little bit of work you can do on that. The next thing is recommendations. So who have you worked with? Who have you done jobs with? Who have you collaborated with? Who do you know? You need to be a first degree connection with somebody for them to leave you a recommendation. But my advice is to get as many recommendations as possible. And again, you know, I have way over 100 recommendations on LinkedIn, and that massively helps me because I've got that social proof. And then if you're a business owner, you can lift those recommendations off and put them onto your website or literature. And if you're an employee looking for jobs, it makes so much sense, because a prospective employer can see immediately, "Oh, this person's got recommendations." Really helps with the referencing process. And finally, make sure you add in any achievements. It could be that you've won awards. It could be, you know, you've you've written a white paper, it could be anything, written a book. There's a section for publications on there as well. So really think about your achievements and pop those on as well. So we're going to talk about connections now on LinkedIn, and I wanted to go through an explanation of the connections, because I know it's something that people get a little bit confused about. So on LinkedIn, people in your network are made up of first, second, and third degree connections, as well as fellow members of LinkedIn groups. So first degree connections are people that you've directly connected to because you've accepted their invitation to connect, or they've accepted yours. Then you become a second degree connection to all their contacts. So I've got like 6,500 connections. So if anyone connects up with me, all of those connections become second degree connections to them, which is really beneficial. So if you're connecting up with people with large networks, this really does broaden you in terms of the numbers of people that you can connect with. So after that, those people, the second degree connections, the people they're connected to, become my third degree. So again, if you're connecting up with people who've got high numbers, then you're going to be able to reach people. And if anybody's heard of 6 degrees of separation, you'll know that you're not that far away from being connected with people. Now, if you're in LinkedIn groups, you can connect with people really easily on there as well, because anybody else outside of this will be classed as out of your network. Now, you can still connect up with them in different ways, and you can still find their names and details and things, but the power is in the first, second, and third degree connections that you've got in so many ways. And I haven't got the time today to cover all of this, but just to say, you know, the more connections you have that are the type of connections you want, the better. So have a connection strategy. Don't feel that you've got to connect up with everybody. I missed a slide, no. But I think make sure that you stop and think really about who it is that you want to connect with. And I have a strategy, and mine is, you know, where is someone based? What is it they do? Is their profile complete? If their profile is not complete, they'll get a message telling them, do you want to come on my LinkedIn course? But generally, I'm not going to connect up with people overseas because I don't do business overseas. So certain countries, I just don't accept connection requests. So we're moving on to thinking about posting and sharing content, because if you're building your network, you want people to see a bit about you. And my advice is to share some posts. So the posts can be a number of different things. You can be educating people. I would probably not go down the route of being too opinionated on politics, for example, because you might alienate people, but certainly giving your opinion on your industry and insights into your industry would be really valuable. And it might be a request you have for something. So you might want to be requesting information yourself, or you might want to do a poll on something, or you might want to share the fact that you are looking for a job. So you've got all these tabs here. You can share photos, you can share video, you can share a video up to 10 minutes long that you've recorded somewhere else. Lots of people now have the ability to go live, and if you sign up to creator mode, you should get that button. You can post a job here as well, and you can also write an article. So if your post is too long for a post, then you can turn it into an article. But if you're looking for sort of structuring something so it is more of an article type, then it's probably write it as an article, and make sure you put some tags, hashtags in it as well. So when you're expanding your connections, so hopefully they're seeing this content that you're putting out, go to this My Network button, and from here you're going to get a whole bunch of suggestions of people to connect up with. And they'll be based on your industry, they'll be based on the schools and universities that you've put in, they'll be based on people that you're already connected to and their connections, they'll come up as a suggestion. So, you know, you want to make sure that you've got some content out there if you're trying to expand your connections, because they'll probably go and look at what you're putting out and see how active you are. So my advice is to get some content going, get some posts out there as well, and then move on to doing some more expanding your connections. This button will give you a list of what groups you're in, what events that you might be invited to or going to, what newsletters you're subscribing to, what company pages that you've liked, etc. So if you're looking for any of that information, it's here. And also the hashtags that you're following will be listed here on the left-hand side as well. And if you go on to your connections and you click on this, hold on, I should show you, click on this button here, it will take you to here. And here's where you can manage your connections. So you can search by name, you can search with filters. So you could potentially look for people based in London or people based in certain industries. And once people have connected with you, it's going to show here. Now, there is also other things you can do with your connections. I can't go through everything today, but where you can have a look and see who's accepted your connection requests and who hasn't. And you can withdraw connection requests from people maybe who haven't responded for a couple of months. I advise doing that because there's a maximum amount of connection requests you can send. And I wouldn't send any more than 20 or 30 a day. Because you can risk your profile getting frozen if you're on a free plan, because it looks at it and says, well, this person's using it commercially, so they should be paying for the upgrade. So 20 to 30 a day, you're fine. If you are looking to build your network within your industry, then I would recommend you're doing that, because that's going to take quite a while to build it, because not everybody's going to accept. So when you're looking at the search facility, so maybe you're thinking, well, who do I connect up with? You can upload your email database into LinkedIn, and that will match people within the database who are on LinkedIn using it with that email address, and then invite them to connect with you from there. So we did that for a client last month. They had 4,000. It takes quite a while because you upload it all and then you need to go through them. Because some of the people will either not be on LinkedIn or not active. But we built her connections up by about 1,300, and all of those people were already knew about her because they were on her email list. So it's worth thinking about. So if you're a bit stuck and think, oh gosh, I don't know, who do I know? Or who do I want to connect up with? Then you can use the search box to find people. So I've just used an example here of golf club managers because, again, it was a project we did for a client. And if you put in golf club managers in the search box, you're getting thousands of search results. So then you might want to look at reducing the numbers of returns of the search by going for first degree, second degree, or third degree connections. So if you're looking to reach new people that don't know you, then you're going to want to go for second degree or third degree. It might be as well that you want to go more specific for locations. So again, you can default this to the UK or London or certain areas, or it might be, you know, the name of the company that you're trying to target. So you can use these filters. Now, on the free LinkedIn membership, you don't get as many search filters as you get on the paid, but we'll talk a bit more about that later. So I think the search facility is well underused. We use it all the time to search for so many different things. We build lists for clients. We use it all the time to find competitor information and information for businesses to connect up with other businesses and individuals. It gives you a name. So for example, with this guy under here, Brad McLean, I can send him a connection request, or I can put him into a list and pick up the phone. And at least when I ring that golf club, I've actually got a name of the person that I want to speak to, rather than saying, oh, can I speak to the golf club manager? You know, you might even want to extend it and use it for postal marketing, because you've now got the name, you know, the golf course he's working for. You might want to put something in the post and then follow it up with a phone call. Or you might just want to follow his activity on LinkedIn and comment on some of his posts and like some of his posts and kind of start to become a bit more on his radar. You can also see what groups he's in when you look at his profile. So there's lots of kind of ninja tactics that actually put you on people's radars. And these all work. These all work. So my advice is to follow companies that you might be interested in. So if you're looking for a job, and I'll show you a screenshot in a second of the job alert tab, you can, on a company page, get alerted when they post a job. You can also follow people that you are interested in working with. And you don't have to necessarily connect with somebody. You might just want to follow them at this stage. You might want to add yourself into groups that interest you, and I'll give you a screenshot of that in a second and show you how to do that. And that might be locally, you want to be more well known, or in your industry. So there's lots of industry specific groups as well as local groups on LinkedIn. And some of you might belong to networking groups that have a LinkedIn group as well. And also have a look at your industry hashtags and follow those relevant hashtags. And this will help you see posts within your feed that are going to be of interest to you. And particularly, like, I follow the awards hashtag. So I'll see posts in my feed that people have done, and they're not necessarily my first or second degree connections. And it enables me to chip in into the conversation. So my advice is follow those hashtags for that reason, and also see what competitors are doing. So this is the job alert. So I just chose Nike, biggest probably company on here. I'd say has over 5 million followers, as you can see. And here is the job alert. Can you see there? Create job alert and get notified when Nike posts new jobs, and that notification will come into your bell symbol here. So you can put a job title in. They have 1,799 jobs at the moment listed on LinkedIn. If this didn't work, companies like Nike wouldn't be using it. They wouldn't be wasting their time. So that's, you know, a good indicator when you look at companies like this using it. If I just wanted to follow Nike, I can just click that, follow. And when Nike posts, it's going to come up in my feed. And you can get notifications here as well. If I just want to look at their website, I can click their website. I might want to have a look at the people that are employed by the company, so I can click on the people button. That's useful sometimes if you're trying to kind of get, okay, so who's on the board at this company, or who is the sort of person that I need to speak to. So you can click on that and it should tell you the current employees. I mean, it's not 100% reliable because sometimes people leave a company and they don't update their profile, which isn't going to be you, is it? You're going to do yours and keep it updated. So that's the job alerts. And then the groups, you need to click on the work button here, which is these little grid of 9 dots. And you'll see a groups button here that comes up. Click on that. And then you'll get a list of groups that come up that you're already part of. If you're not part of any, go back to the search button, look for groups, because you can on the filter click groups. And you just look maybe for local stuff to start with and industry stuff. So type in your keywords again. If you are already part of groups, then this will be where you can find them and click on them and see what's happening. You should get notified in your feed when there's posts in the group. You should also get notified if you're mentioned in a group as well in the notifications button, because sometimes people tag you in a group if they're talking about something specific. So if you're looking to post a job, you can post one job for free. After that, they charge you. It's not cheap. We've just done a series of jobs for a client. Now, it cost them, I think it was about 500 quid for 2.5 weeks. A couple of jobs that were posted. Quality of candidates for their particular roles was not great. So I think it depends on what you do. Theirs was quite specialised, so I think that was one of the issues. It wasn't necessarily a lot of people on LinkedIn with their particular specialism. But I have worked with companies that have done it very successfully. And as I said, you can post one job completely for free anyway, so you may as well make use of that. You do need a company page to do it though. So that brings me on to premium or free. So lots of people ask me, oh gosh, I don't know, should I upgrade? What should I do? Okay, so this is where I'm going to talk you through. So the first thing is complete all of the tasks that we've talked about today that you need to do to get your profile in a tip-top shape. Then you probably should be able to upgrade free for 1 month. Now, if you already done a free upgrade in the last 18 months, you won't be able to do it. But if you haven't, you normally get the opportunity to upgrade free for a month to premium, career or business. Okay. So make use of that. And I would suggest September is a good time. So don't do it at the moment. I would suggest spending probably 3 or 4 weeks using it regularly on the free plan and doing all of the activities that I've suggested today, and then have a go at a month, particularly if you are looking for a job or you're looking to gain more leads for your business. Use the premium for a month and see how you get on with it, and see what extra traction, what extra inquiries you're generating. And then after that month, you can decide if you want to continue. They have got an annual plan, but they've also got a monthly plan. And I have clients that stop and start their monthly plan as and when they need to. So, for example, a lot of them have stopped it over the summer because they're staff shortages and they haven't, they're not interested in lead generation at this time of year, and then they'll start it again. So there's a number of different premium types. There is also Sales Navigator. So if you are somebody watching this who's in a sales role and that is your job to generate leads, then Sales Navigator is about £80 a month and it's well worth using. For sole traders, small businesses, I recommend Business Premium, and Premium Career if you're searching for a job. So that's kind of wrapping up everything we talked about today. So what's on your to-do list? So thinking about your profile, what sections do you need to improve or update? And I really advise you getting someone else to read it, make sure it all makes sense, and read it from the perspective of get probably someone who doesn't know you very well to look at it. Because when you are recommended to somebody, so let's look at the 2 scenarios. One is somebody recommends you as a suitable candidate for a job. You haven't even applied for the job, but they may go and look at you on LinkedIn. So that's one scenario, and they don't know you, and they need to be sure that you've got the skills and the passion for what you do. So you want that to come across. Or someone recommends you to another business to work with them. So again, you want to make sure that your profile will sing to any audience, essentially. And getting somebody to look at it who doesn't know you very well, they can be a little bit more objective. Go through your connections. Who do you already know? Because they're the obvious ones to connect up with first. Upload your email list because you've already got that, and then start going through the suggestions that LinkedIn give you, and then having a look at search and think about who are you looking for, who are you looking to connect. So I've been doing some work for a client who is very specific. They want to connect up with HR directors, HR managers. Now they get inundated with connection requests on LinkedIn. I know this because I work, I do the marketing for an HR consultancy. So with that one, I think you can use it to essentially get the name of the person you want to speak to, send them a letter or send them an email, or an email, on LinkedIn, and be quite specific about why you want to connect with them, because you will find that they get inundated, so they're not necessarily going to respond to the connection requests. Look at the groups and see what's around, because therefore you're creating an audience of people by being part of a group that have similarities with you, whether that's location, whether that's industry. And if there isn't something out there, create a group. I've got a lot of groups on LinkedIn that I've created, and it's been really, really useful. Think about your recommendations. Who can you ask? Who are you already connected to that you can send a connection request, a recommendation request, and ask them to recommend you? Really powerful, very easy to do. It's a few clicks and it's done. Make sure your photograph and background image is complete and up to date, and create a plan and be strategic, because you can waste an awful lot of time and effort on LinkedIn if you're not strategic. It's a bit like going down a rabbit hole sometimes, and you end up, searching around. So I think be strategic. So as part of the Inspire Summit, I've agreed to share an offer, which is £50 off a one-to-one LinkedIn coaching session with me, or I do Open courses. I won't be having an open course till October, but the next course I'm just about to put up the details. So you would get £50 off of that. I also do corporate training, so sales and marketing teams mostly. That's separate, so you come to me and have a chat about that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to end my slideshow, and I am going to come back in the room. I'm just going to have a quick look at the comments and see if anybody has any questions. So let's quickly go through. Yes, Lisa, it is. I can see you said it's available on mobile app, useful, la la la. Two things, yeah, okay, great. Sorry, I'm reading these. Okay, so you can follow specific topics using the hashtag. So that I would advise you to do, Becky, because you will then get alerts that come up and post in your feed. Jackie, yes, you can stop and start your LinkedIn premium, definitely. So Jacqueline, sorry. And again, you don't need to consistently have LinkedIn switched on all the time if you are going to have sort of seasonality within your business. Is there any other questions, or have you all put your LinkedIn profile in the comments? Please put that in. I'll go into LinkedIn quickly. It's just because we've got a few more minutes. Let me find it. Oh, I'm back to the presentation. It's not what we want. Right, this is, can you all see that? Can someone just say yes, you can? Is that working? Yes, should be on my, there it is. I can see it's working. So as we've got about 5 or 10 more minutes, I'll go into LinkedIn Live now. So I'm in LinkedIn now. And I remember I mentioned at the beginning about editing your public URL. So that's where you do it here. And this is my little video, which is just literally, hopefully I'll play.
Hi, Debbie Gilbert here. Love to work with businesses to help them do really well with their marketing, their LinkedIn, and also with business awards and networking. So we work with small businesses to get them more clients in a variety of ways. So if that's something that's of interest to you and you want to tap into my network and hopefully we could do some work together, then I'm happy to chat to you. So connect up with me. Thank you.
That's it, recorded on my phone. There was no director present. It was done really easily, and it's done on your phone. You can't do that on the desktop, you have to do it on your phone. I feel like it's an opportunity missed if you don't have it there, and you really should. And when you get to your home feed, we can have a look at that live at the moment. So there's a couple of things here. So it will sort by recent, or you can sort by top. So this is going to be the things that have had the most traction on LinkedIn in your feed. So it's kind of trying to say to you, look, this is the top things that you need to look at. So I do think sort your feed out. If you're more interested in seeing what's most recently been posted, then obviously look at it that way. And try and interact and comment on people's posts as much as you possibly can, because actually commenting, liking and sharing other people's content is really, really important. So I try and go in at least once a day, and I use the app more or less for this, to be honest. Go in, see what people are talking about, pop a comment on, and I would say make it meaningful, 5 to 10 words at least. Because say if this has told me that one of my contacts has commented on this post. Now he's a second degree connection of mine. So if I start commenting on his post, the people who've commented and liked are going to see that too. So you can put yourself in front of an audience of people that don't even know who you are at this stage. And I've had so much work from doing that. And all I'm doing sometimes is sharing a tip or an opinion, a thought on something, and I'm contributing to people. I'm contributing and helping their posts get further in the algorithm. And I'm also benefiting myself. because I will get more profile views. So one of the other things you can look at is who's viewed your profile. So here you can see I'm on premium, so I can see who's viewed my profile in the last 90 days. Now on the free account, you won't see those sorts of analytics. You'll get a couple of examples and that's all. On here, I can actually use the filters again to search for people in a particular location or an industry that have looked at my profile. And I can normally correlate this with inquiries that I get. So sometimes I get an email inquiry from somebody or a phone call. And when I go and look at these stats, lo and behold, they've looked me up on LinkedIn and that's where they found me. And actually there are 2 people in that list that have contacted me in the last week who've definitely found me through LinkedIn. Or they've been recommended by somebody to work with me and they've gone and checked me out on LinkedIn. Now, if people have chosen to be anonymous, that's all you're going to see. And I've got the anonymous setting on my profile simply because I spend a lot of my time doing research on LinkedIn, and that's in your settings. So all your settings are here. Just move that. So under settings and privacy is this button here. And this is what I mentioned earlier. This is where you can change your password, add extra email addresses, and click on your visibility. But I cover a lot of that in my course in detail. I literally had 45 minutes today to cover this stuff. And there is a lot on here. And to be honest, you know, if you go away and action some of the things I've talked about today, that will massively hold you in really, really good stead. But there is a ton of stuff on here. And as I said, think of it like a large database. So I'm going to stop sharing, check any more questions, and I'm going to sign off. So thank you for joining me today. Make sure, oh, brilliant. You're all adding your LinkedIn profiles. That's amazing. We'll connect up with everybody. I really can't stress enough to all of you to use it, utilize this. Even the free platform, I would say 85% of people function perfectly well on a free platform. But if you're starting out, try and use the premium membership when you've got all your ducks in a row, just to build your profile up and connect with more people. And yeah, I hope you've enjoyed the presentation, and it's been great sharing. As you probably tell, I'm a bit of a LinkedIn evangelist, I call myself. I believe there's so many opportunities and potential on here. And so if you haven't got a company page and you're a business owner, go and set one up because you need that. If you're looking for a job, make sure your profile is pimped up best way possible. And make sure you tune in to some of the other talks on the Inspire Summit, because it's been an incredible summit so far. Lots more to come, and it's been great being part of it. So thank you for joining me today, and I will go back to your comments after I end the live and respond, and I'll pop my email in there as well. So thank you.